Greetings and welcome to the first episode of Mysteries of Haitian Vodou. I am your co-host, Natara Rose. I am joined by your host, Papa Mystique. We want to give gratitude and thanks to everyone for joining us and listening as we kick off this first episode with a very special guest. We will be joined by Houngan Samba'L from Lakou C.E.C.I.L.E in Haiti, who took the time out of his busy schedule to share with us his knowledge and wisdom of Haitian Vodou on our platform.
Yes, peace to everyone who's tuning in to our first episode of Mysteries of Haitian Vodou. I am Papa Mystique, and I want to give gratitude to all of our listeners as well as our special guest Houngan Samba'L out of Lakou C.E.C.I.L.E in Haiti. Houngan Samba'L was kind enough to give us a rare interview explaining some key concepts about Haitian Vodou, as well as some interesting history about himself. Houngan Samba'L is a high-ranking Houngan, or for those who don't know what Houngan means, a voodoo priest in Haiti. He founded and runs an academy where you can go learn to become a voodoo priest or priestess. He has been teaching Haitian Vodou for over 30 years, and he is an emperor in the Champwell Bizango Society, a secret society where you are only inducted by invite after showing so many years of service in Voodoo Asogwe, the highest level of voodoo. Before we jump right into the interview, I want our listeners to know that this space is for learning about Haitian Vodou. Although we are not starting from the very beginning, the insight you gain from our show will lead you to ask the right questions to provide you with the answers that you need. Haitian Vodou has been stereotyped as evil, wicked, and labeled many other negative adjectives. We're here to change that and provide you with intellectual responses to give you a different side of Haitian Vodou. Haitian Vodou is not all magic. It's not all love spells. It's not voodoo dolls stuck with needles. These are all mischaracterizations promoted by those who do not want you to know the true power of Haitian Vodou. Haitian Vodou was a liberating force. It is the spiritual practice of our ancestors. We were not always Christian, as many want to believe. There was a time when our ancestors were forced into slavery. They were also forcefully converted into Catholicism. So if they were converted, what did they convert from? That is the question we all should be asking ourselves. Before our ancestors were kidnapped, what was their spiritual practice? So today we have Houngan Samba'L, who's going to give us some information and some history about Haitian Vodou.
Yes, I am looking forward to it. The interview is in Haitian Creole, but our Papa Mystique will be translating for us as best he can.
Yes, I'm going to do the best I can to translate. And because Samba'L is in Haiti and with all the movement going on over there, we decided the best way to do this interview was by voice message. So I asked him a question and he sent me a voice message in response. So I think the best way to do this is to ask the question here in English, let his response play out in Creole, and then I'll translate afterwards. I don't want to talk over him just out of respect, so I asked first Houngan Samba'L to introduce himself and to tell us a little bit about his background.
Nap salye tout moun, Mysteries of Haitian Vodou. Non pa mse Houngan Samba'L, mwen se petit Tiza Isaac, Desi Isaac, André Isaac, Elien Isaac ou Houngan Samba'L, 4e génération Vodou Haïti, qui se descendant Congo en 2001. Oui, moi j'ai un groupe congolais qui sorti en Afrique et puis ils viennent là carrément là ils viennent m'a fait un rituel que les arbres à bouteille. Et là ça, il y a l'habitation moi c'est mon petit ville là. Là ils viennent l'habitation et puis la tradition on gagne que les arbres à bouteille là et depuis là c'est eux même qui ont expliqué moi mais côté me sorti mais type mon moyen dans la Congo. Et c'est en gros c'est ça.
I would like to greet everyone, Mysteries of Haitian Vodou. My name is Houngan Samba'L. I am the son of Tizad Isaac, Desi Isaac, Andre Isaac, Alien Isaac, or Houngan Samba'L, fourth generation of Haitian Vodou. We are descendants of the Congo. In 2001, a group from the Congo in Africa traveled to Haiti, and they came to my house. And I was doing a ritual called Ab Aboute. And at this time, they went to my mother's Bitation. We're from Pétionville. And when they went to the Bitation, they saw the tradition that we have called Ab Aboute. Then they explained to me that this is where my people are from. This is the type of people that I am in Lakou, Congo.
Wow, that's amazing. My first question would be, can you explain what Aboute is, the ritual that was being performed?
So Ab Aboute is a family tradition that Houngan Samba'L family performed. And I can't tell you the specifics of that particular ritual, but I can tell you that it is a family tradition. And based on this family tradition that he was doing, when the group from the Congo came to visit his house, they recognized that tradition. And at that time, they were able to tell him, his lineage.
So there's another word that I didn't recognize, and I was wondering if you can say what it means. It's bitation.
Oh, okay, yeah. So bitation, which is a word that it will be a recurring word on this podcast, because in Haitian Vodou, they use bitation a lot. And bitation actually has colonial roots. So when the French own property or plantation, they call it habitation. You could basically translate that to English like a habitation. And so that habitation or bitation in Creole is basically where someone is from. So it's their property, their land, where their mother or father or grandparents were born, or where a person was born, and so it's where they're from. The thing about bitation, especially in relation to Haitian Vodou, is that a bitation houses a particular energy. So there may be spirits associated with that bitation, which basically energizes or would be able to help someone in particular if they're from that bitation, right? So another way to explain it is your body is a bitation. Your body houses energy. Your body houses spirits, right? So there's an energy within this bitation. Well, it would be the same thing with a land or property that belongs to your family. There's a certain energy, certain spirits that are associated with it. So that would be your bitation, where you were born, or your parents were born, or your grandparents were born. And this is basically where your family tradition is from. So in Houngan Samba'L's case, they went to his mother's bitation, and he said that they were from Pétionville. So her bitation is in Pétionville. I don't know the particular exact neighborhood in Pétionville, but when they visited his bitation, there they were associated with, the energy, the spirits that were associated with that bitation, and that's how they were able to recognize where they were from.
Okay, that makes sense. And the last question I do have is, what is Lakou? Can you go a little deeper into that?
Yeah, so Lakou also related to bitation as well. When you look at different voodoo temples, they'll call them a Lakou. So like Houngan Samba'L, he's from Lakou C.E.C.I.L.E. He, mentioned later in the interview that he's associated with also Lakou C.E.C.I.L.E. So basically, Lakou in Creole means a yard, right? So you'll hear a lot of Haitian families, let's just say, they're like, Timun ap join a Lakoua, which basically translates to the kids are playing in the yard, right? But in Haitian voodoo, a Lakou is basically where the people from the community come to assemble for certain voodoo practices and rituals and services. A Lakou you could find within the Umfor, which is a voodoo temple, or in the Peristyle, which is where a lot of the ceremonies are held. So a Lakou is where they hold traditional practices, right? And they're more, they have a lot of order within them. They have what you call a règlement, which is basically like the way that they go about doing something. Their rules or regulations, as you could say. So when he mentioned Lakou, he said they're from Lakou, Congo, then there's a certain way that they go about doing things, right? So Lakou, Congo would basically mean, where within this voodoo home of Congo, this is how we do things. So a Lakou is basically like a temple. It's the area where people come and commune, they do their voodoo services and things of that nature.
Okay, well, thank you.
So we, that was a very great response from Houngan Samba'L, however short it was, but it offered us the opportunity to kind of take a look at some of the lexicon that's used within Haitian voodoo. I asked Houngan Samba'L, how did he get started in voodoo? I asked him because there are different types of voodoo. You have voodoo makut, you have deka or voodoo lakou, and you have voodoo asagwe. There are different types of voodoo, different realms of voodoo in Haitian voodoo. And so that was the question that I asked him next, and here's his response.
Nan, question Houngan Makout, papa moi, c'était Houngan Makout, ça c'est autant de nous, c'est 4e génération nous. Et bien c'est des familles en famille, yo kon casse feuille, on gagne pied dans assiette, y a bay moun et puis papa l'aime vinn 14 ans et puis moi même pendant mon vinn papa moi aller chercher des clients venir papa me battre là, il m'a cherché feuille pour bayo pour me traiter yo et puis loi a monté, c'est loi a monté à 14 ans. Et le papa me venu, papa me calme parce que papa me dit, dans l'âge moi, il n'y a pas de les lois pour faire traitement pour le monde. Bon, moi, c'est pas moi qui ai les lois, c'est le loi qui est monté sur moi. Bon, papa me venu calmer moi. Et puis devant, papa me venu mourir. Papa me venu mourir, le papa me venu mourir, bon, c'est moi-même qu'on est venu avec 2 semios qui sont dans la cour. Et c'est moi-même, loi, qui est venu réclamer comme mon gant, c'est venu un désaccord familial, famille, c'est dans gourmet, toute bagaille. Peut-être que moi-même, et c'est moi-même qui ai réclamé. Bon, des semaines, ils sont venus voyager l'autre bord, ils sont venus faire un accouchement, il y a des gens qui font petit monde n'a mouru, etc. Et moi-même, c'est là que j'ai commencé à faire un ramacoute, j'ai commencé à travailler pour le monde, faire bien chance, faire traitement, et puis guérir les gens qui sont malades, etc. Et c'est là moi-même, j'ai commencé, c'est à partir de la caille, moi. De samedi qu'on aurait papa m'a fait, de samedi qu'on aurait frère, grand-papa m'a fait, tonton papa moi, et c'est continuité ça moi-même je viens faire, qui fait aujourd'hui que moi-même je viens Houngan Samba'L là, mais c'est à partir des traditions familiales qui c'est moi laisse ça me Houngan qui m'était limité parce que moi c'est seulement gagné ça relait l'esprit familial yo, c'est la tradition familiale. Mais qu'on y a moi vinn on d'autres traditions côté que moi-même m'aller carrément beau 3 racines par rapport à Mano et puis qui te vinn mener moi et puis nous venir Mano venir initier moi-même qui ba nous son qui maman nous qui les 3 racines bœuf sang qui pas jamais édifié qui les Mireille dans tout ça jusqu'à présent il est toujours appelé là et lui-même était venu initier nous li ba nous à son Après ça, dans la question de Samba'L Bizango, nous venons dans toute une série de grands-mères qui tirent les Jacques, qui sont après Samba'L Bizango. Et Jacques là, c'est lui-même qui était pour nous, mener nous à Cahiers, cabaret, sortir avec nous. Et puis, il a préparé une initiation Samba'L Bizango pour nous. Et puis, depuis ça, nous Samba'L Bizango. Après ça, qu'on est là, nous venons entrer dans un vaudou spirituel. Dans le vaudou spirituel là, c'est-à-dire c'est la spiritualité, côté pour nous faire baptême, mariage, enterrement.
My father was a Houngan Makut. They know how to casse-feuille, which is break leaves. When I turned 14, clients would come to my home to see my father. But when he wasn't there, I would find the leaves to treat them. The law mounted me. The law mounted me at 14 years old. When my father finally came home, he whipped me because he said at that age that I'm at, I shouldn't have called on the law to give people treatments. I told him it wasn't me who called the law. It was the law who mounted me. When my father died, it was me and my two sisters who were in the Lakou. And it was the law who would claim me as Houngan. There was a family disagreement. The family fought because it was me the law reclaimed. My sisters traveled somewhere else. They did a childbirth, and one had a child die. This is when I started doing Houngan Makut, doing work for people, doing good luck work, treatments, healing the sick. And this is why I started from my home. What I saw my father do, what I saw my grandfather's brother do, what I saw my uncles do. So this is the work that I continue to do, which made me become a Houngan today, Samba'L. So it's from a family tradition. But at this time, I was a Houngan who was limited because at that time I had only the family spirits, a family tradition. But now I have a tradition from when I went to Mambo Tuawasin's house. I was brought by Mano, and Mano initiated me and gave me the asson, which our mother named Tuawasin went under the fire, who was called Mire. And he initiated us and gave us an asson. Now for Samba'L Bizango, I met a grand master who was called Jacques from Samba'L Bizango. And he is the one who took us and prepared us for initiation. After this, we were Samba'L Bizango. Now I entered into a voodoo spiritual where we can do baptisms, marriages, and funerals.
Okay, so I have a few more questions based on his response. Can you explain what a Houngan Makut is?
Yes, so in voodoo, you have several different types of voodoo in Haitian voodoo. So you have voodoo Makut, you have Deka or voodoo Lakou, and you have voodoo Asagwe, and there's just so many different types of voodoo. But voodoo Makut, you have a Houngan Makut or a Mambo Makut. And basically what this translates to is a straw bag voodoo, right? So you got a Houngan with a straw bag, or you have a Mambo with a straw bag, and within this straw bag, they have their spiritual tools that they use. Now, normally people who practice voodoo Makut, this is more like voodoo that's like of a family tradition, right? So it's not voodoo Lakou. It's not a voodoo Asagwe because you don't have the règlement, which is, the form and the order that, they go about doing things, right? So when you talk about voodoo Makut or Houngan Makut or Mambo Makut, these are people who normally practice voodoo on an individual basis or based off of family tradition. It's more of a family tradition. And Houngan Samba'L, he goes into this in part 2 of our interview. He breaks down the different types of voodoo. But that's what Houngan Makut is. They're just a voodoo priest that works with a straw bag of spiritual tools who basically they treat people.
Now, I noticed you mentioned the word that I'm not familiar with. Can you tell me what a mambo is?
Yeah, so a mambo is a voodoo priestess, where Houngan is a voodoo priest, a male. Mambo is a voodoo priestess. So she's just the female role of what a Houngan may be. They basically are like on the same level, the same type of rank. It's just one is a woman, the other is a man. So she knows just as much, a Mambo could know just as much as a Houngan. And so, if Houngan is like the king, the Mambo is like the queen, or the emperor and empress.
Okay, so the Houngan mentioned that his father knew how to C.E.C.I.L.E. Can you tell us what that means?
Yeah, so with C.E.C.I.L.E is a term, if it translates to English, it's like break leaves, but it's probably more so like crush leaves. But what it really means is that they know plants, they know how to use leaves to treat people, right? So if someone is sick and they need, a bath or a tea or something where they need a particular plant leaf to heal them, and that Houngan or Mambo knows, what plants or leaves to use to heal that person, or herbs to heal that person, that means that they know how to C.E.C.I.L.E. As someone who is skilled in, medicinal herbs or leaves or things of that nature, right? So I guess so you could compare that to somebody like an herbalist. So they're really good with knowing what plants or herbs to use to treat and heal people. And so that's what he was explaining, was that his father knew how to C.E.C.I.L.E. And that's normally what Houngan Makut or Mambo Makut do. They know how to C.E.C.I.L.E. or treat people with plants, leaves, herbs, things of that nature.
I see. For those who don't know, he didn't mention the Lua. Can you please explain what he meant by the Lua and who they are?
Yeah, so the Loi are the spirits within Haitian Vodou, right? So you have a pantheon of spirits, and they are broken down by rites, nation, things of that nature, which we'll explain, as we have more episodes within our podcast, we'll break those things down as well. But the Loi are basically the spirits. They are the ones that aid us within this earthly realm. So they are the intermediaries between us and God himself, the Almighty Creator. So in Haitian Vodou, what we believe is that because the Creator is busy creating, more universes, just creating, a whole lot more than just our universe, our world. The Loi, they have the job of basically intervening in our affairs to help us with our, the daily lives, the things that we face on a daily basis. So we have a relationship with them, and they act as intermediaries between us and the Creator. So traditionally in African spirituality, that's how we would serve God, right? We would serve God through the spirits, the Loi. And so the Loi, you have Loi that are ancient Loi that have been here for a long time. You have Loi who are our ancestors. So some of our ancestors, they have crossed over and become Loi themselves. So all the Loi they're just spirits that we interact with. They're in the spiritual world while we're here in the earthly world. They're in the invisible world while we're in the visible world. And so we have an opportunity to serve the Loi, who in turn end up helping us in our daily lives. And he also mentioned that the Loi mounted him. So you'll also hear that a lot. And or when a Loi mounts somebody, right, it's like a possession. So in Creole, they would call that a cheval, right? So what a cheval is like a horse, is when a rider mounts a horse. This is basically the same type of thing as when a Loi mounts a person. So the person is the horse, right? And the Loi is the rider of the horse. So a Loi would basically possess that person and give them, the knowledge or the wisdom that they need in order to deal with whatever they need to deal with. So in that particular instance, he said that the loi mounted him, which means that the loi gave him the connaissance, or the knowledge that he needed in order to treat those clients that came to his house when his father wasn't there. So the loi mounted him and gave him the knowledge of what plants, what leaves, what herbs to use to treat the clients that were coming to his father's house that were seeking treatment while his father wasn't there.
I see. That is very interesting. I noticed that he mentioned when he was initiated, he was given a song.
Right.
Can you explain what that is?
Yes. So when you go through initiation, let's just say if you go through initiation for Vodou Asogwe, which is one of the highest levels of voodoo, right? You would have to go through a Kanzo initiation. And when you go through that Kanzo initiation, there's several different steps to it. But when you go through the Kanzo initiation, you get given an asson, right? So an asson is the calabash rattle, or what people will call a cha-cha. But it's a calabash rattle that has beads and snake vertebrae on it, and there's also a belt attached to it. Now, what this asson does is it allows one to invoke the loi, call on the loi, or communicate with the loi. And so some Houngan Samba'L can actually control, how to communicate with them, whether they need to possess, or whether they need to put them in a jar, or the loi can enter into this realm into different ways. And if a Houngan or Mambo has an asson, that asson is basically what gives them the authority to do those things, right? So an asson, the only way you can get an asson is through initiation. You can't just go buy an asson, because it is a spiritual tool and it's a sacred tool. So this asson, it has many different uses, but you hear a lot of Houngan when they'll shake it, they'll ring the bell, and basically what they're doing is a ritual, to invoke the loi. So it's a very sacred tool, and it's a tool of authority. So any Houngan or Mambo that has this, it means that they were initiated in order to get it. And so especially within Vodou Asogwe, and when, the only people that can give a Kanzo initiation is one who's went through Kanzo themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very orderly type of initiation. And, it's a lot of, many people respect people who have the asson, because it means that they've know voodoo theory, they know voodoo practice, and, they know how to communicate with the loi. Right.
That's all. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, so, we want to thank everybody. This is only part one of Mysteries of Haitian Voodoo interview with Samba'L, a journey to the spirits and a Houngan's path into voodoo. And we really appreciate Samba'L for sharing his experiences with us. So we will release part two within a week. And we hope that everybody chooses to tune in, because what Samba'L is doing, he's sharing with us his personal experience within the realm of Haitian voodoo, giving us the insight that many of us would not otherwise have, because a lot of people don't teach about voodoo in its true form and in its true essence of what it really is. And it's particularly gratifying when we can have someone who is within the practice of voodoo, who's well respected in voodoo, to be able to share, their path, to becoming a voodoo priest, so that we can understand, just some of the ways, some of the rituals, and some of the words, some of the lexicon that's being used, so that we can learn about voodoo and, the true essence of voodoo, and not the negative stereotypes that have been put out there about it. So how did you enjoy the first episode?
I thought it was amazing. All this information that hasn't been told, or I just think it's great that it's being shared with everyone, and hopefully we can get this information out here, and it can replace what's been shared around the world that was negative. So.
Right, exactly. So we want to thank everybody once again for coming and listening to our first episode. We look forward to having you join us for our second episode, which will be released within a week. Thanks again. Thanks for joining us with the mysteries of Haitian Voodoo. You have been listening to the first podcast of Mysteries of Haitian Voodoo. You can follow us on TikTok at papa.mystique. You can follow us on Instagram at Mysteries of Haitian Voodoo. And you can follow us on X at Papa Mystique. Samba'L, who is the Houngan from Lakou C.E.C.I.L.E, you can look them up on Facebook, Lakou C.E.C.I.L.E. You can look them up, Fet Cash, and they're on YouTube. So there are a lot of videos out there that Samba'L has put out, along with Lakou C.E.C.I.L.E, on Haitian Voodoo and learning about Voodoo. So we encourage you to please follow us on all platforms. Follow Houngan Samba'L on platforms so that you can learn more about Haitian Voodoo. We look forward to all of you joining us for the second part of the interview with Houngan Samba'L. Until next time, thank you.